no. Oh no! What is it?
He's going to sacrifice himself.
Oh, you can't!
No, Ron, no. When we're designing a space, we always want it to be timeless, and these are the key features of any design elements that I think will always be timeless no matter the interior design style. And I'd also like to thank Article for sponsoring today's video, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. First on the list is gonna be a hot take, but it is checkerboard flooring. And no, it is not your standard checkerboard flooring that is black and white, which can look good in most spaces. But if we're being honest, that high contrast look does not always look good in every single space. If you are applying the checkerboard flooring in any model of your home, and no matter what interior design style you are choosing it for, make sure that the color coordination matches the actual style of your home. Because that black and white is sometimes too intense, maybe go with a gray and white, maybe go with a travertine and a white marble. There are endless opportunities to bring in a checkerboard flooring and still make it look really chic in your space without it coming across too drastic. The best thing about a checkerboard flooring is to isolate it to a smaller roomed footprint like a foyer or even a mudroom. That way you can have your biggest impact. If you do bring it into an entire room, it is not going to look nearly as good because it ends up looking like a chessboard from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. No, Ron, no!
Not me, not Hermione, you!
Sorry to interrupt these messages, Design Daddy in the field here, and we have a special message from our sponsor today, Article. So you probably saw my previous video about the Mully sideboard in smoked oak that I got from Article and how fantastic it was. The Mully sideboard in smoked oak is one of my favorite items from the Article selection because one, the color is absolutely phenomenal. It really gives you a good sense of depth and dimension. And let me tell you this, I had to have two people help me move this because it is so heavy. So if that doesn't speak to the quality of it, I really don't know what does. The reason why I chose this sideboard over the other ones is one, the actual details of it. You cannot go wrong with the soft close on the drawers and the cabinets. And speaking of drawers, you already know from every other single video I've ever talked about when it comes to millwork, cabinets, anything to hide things away, drawers are your best items to utilize all that additional space so you're not actually emptying it out and it feels like you can fill it. And I've gotten so many questions, not only on here, but just on all my social platforms of how to style a buffet stand or a sideboard. So today I'm gonna show you my quick and easy tips on how to style a sideboard to always make it look chic. So the biggest thing I always like to play with is dimension and different scaled heights. This is the perfect opportunity to bring in coffee table books and different scaled items to work in groupings of 3 so it always looks pleasing to the eye. That being said, you can work with a symmetrical style or an asymmetrical style as long as it brings balance to your space, and this is the perfect representation on how to create that balance with both sides higher, the middle lower, so it feels proportionate in the overall sense of the space. On any surface, I always like to have a catch-all, especially if it's close to the entrance of your home. This is the perfect opportunity to have a drop-off point for your keys, your water bottle, your bag, everything that feels like it serves a purpose and has a place exactly where you put it. So this sideboard was in a smoked oak finish, which has that really nice, beautiful walnut tone to it. This perfectly complements a marble catch-all. I always like to juxtapose different finishes depending on the actual finish of the sideboard or the buffet stand. If you go with something hard, having that soft and hard element always look really thoughtfully designed. Lighting is another really important factor that I tell all of my clients. Regardless if it's night or day, having a sculptural element that gives off a beautiful sense of ambient light in the evening, but also plays to a good sense of reflectivity, or a sculptural piece during the day, is the perfect combination for any space. And because we're playing with a nice tablescape option here, this is the perfect opportunity to bring in something that makes a wow impact, but also looks really chic. Article is also offering $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more, so click the link in my description box or scan the QR code on my screen. Another one that I'm adding to this list could be another hot take because you're either for it or you're against it, but it is simplified molding. I'm talking about wall molding. I'm talking about baseboards and your toe kicks, even crown molding throughout. If you end up using more of that ornate detail, it comes off very traditional. You can sometimes play off that transitional style if you bring another style in to really juxtapose it, but in my opinion, it comes off way too generational and it doesn't always work with your space. Less ornate is always better. I'm not talking about doing like a square off edge that really comes off too contemporary, but a little bit of a bevel, a little bit of a curve can really help accentuate the overall design and make it timeless in your space, no matter the interior design style that you actually want to achieve. It does play more to that contemporary style. However, if you are going for more of that Japandi or that wabi-sabi interior, which is super clean and minimal, you wouldn't be actually including these wall moldings to begin with. The reason why I'm adding these to the list is because they allow your space to have that added level of depth and dimension that you do not get from your typical flat walls that are just painted. If you're looking at anything in a space, if you want it to be timeless, choose the most natural finish. I'm talking about your wood, whether it be stained or natural, or even your cabinet finishes. Make sure that it is as clean and simple as possible. If you're going with a white oak, let it be a white oak. Find an oil stain that just brings out that natural color. By God, do not use a whiteout look that completely destroys the flooring that you're choosing. Anything that's going to be natural, whether it be color or actual finish in terms of dimension, is always going to be timeless in a space. So if you're looking at a new veneer for your kitchen or flooring, look for something that has the natural knots to it as well. If you're looking at planks that just have your single veins running the entire length of it, it's going to look like a racetrack on your floor. Have something that breaks up that monotony of those lines with the knots that naturally occur in wood anyways to give you that really beautiful natural look. This is another hot take because I am very impartial as an interior designer, but when it comes to your countertop, use a natural stone. And when I reference natural stone, I'm not talking about one of those like trendy, super colorful, bold ones. Those are very specific to the interior design style and how they actually interact with the rest of the elements in your space. When you go to choosing your countertop, find something that is still minimal, it still has that beautiful veining to it, and it gives that extra level of dimension that you do not get from any other countertop. If you are choosing a quartz, avoid the lightning veined ones. Those were hot in the 2000s and they did look good for the time being, but the reason why they haven't lasted and they don't have that timeless appeal is because they are too intense. You're looking at a lightning bolt that kind of connects and then disconnects from the rest of your kitchen. You want something that has a fluidity and natural motion to it so it looks like it blends into the environment. I get asked all the time, what is the best countertop for your kitchen? Like I said before, my preference is always going to be a natural stone, but if you've ever been curious about the multitude of options out there, please let me know in the comments and I can always make a video on that. If you're looking for another timeless option, I will always recommend white bedding and white linens for your bathroom and your bedroom. They look so clean and so simple, and no matter what you put in the space, they always look super chic. There is a reason why hotels use white bedding because it always looks good. It is also super easy to clean. And one point I'm going to throw in here, because you may not know this, is do not wash your white sheets with bleach. They will yellow. Use literally a tablespoon of Dawn detergent, and honestly, you will have the whitest sheets of your life. They look so good all the time, and they're way softer than they would be if you used bleach. So this one technically isn't a design element, but it is a design principle, and it is symmetry. Symmetry in any space is always going to create that level of harmony and balance that can make a space look good, and if we're being honest, is always going to make it look timeless. So regardless of your space, I want you to divide that middle point. It doesn't have to be a direct mirror on side to side, but you do need to create that level of balance so the space feels symmetrical, whether it be a sofa on one side and two chairs on the other, and how they're divided in the middle is on a nice coffee table and maybe a mantle or a TV in the middle. This is going to give the foolproof method for creating a space that is going to not only look and feel timeless, but also feel really great to be in. So last on the list is window treatments. The only timeless look is pinch pleated linen curtains. These look good in every single setting, no matter the interior design style, because the way that they're displayed gives a beautiful sense of movement. They're soft, they're not super crisp, but they still give that perfect balance between a formal and an informal space, and they're light enough to still have a sense of movement if you have those windows open. And if we're being honest, these pictures perfectly represent that timeless look of like walking through a room or a hallway and the wind just gusts those curtains in. Like, come on. The level of detail you get from these pleats is unmatched compared to your typical Romit curtain rack. In my opinion, timelessness can be designed to any interior design style. It is not a trait. It is not a design principle. It is an element that can work with anything, no matter the color, shape, texture, or design of it. That's why I said when I referenced at the beginning, those checkerboard tiles can work with anything if you just change up the color. Same with those pleated curtains, same with the sense of balance. All of these can apply to any space, and that is what makes a space timeless to last, so you're not gonna get bored of it. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, and if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. Phoenix Gray for all my daily tips and tricks. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do? Boom.